One of my favorite interviews on the player side has become one of my favorite interviews on the front office side. Danielle Robinson, Los Angeles Sparks is here. Locked On Women's Basketball starts now.
You are Locked On Women's Basketball, your daily podcast on women's basketball. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, hi there and happy Wednesday to you and welcome to Locked On Women's Basketball. I'm your host, Howard Megdal, and I want to thank you for making us your first listen every day. Over 300,000 of you showed up to listen to us in January 2025 alone, the way we show up for you 6 days a week. It is, of course, not just me. It is the entire incredible team across the board at the Next. What we have built there, 30 million readers in 2024 alone, a network of correspondents covering every WNBA team in market. We have a reporter for each WNBA team. WNBA keeps adding people, so do we. Make sure you subscribe. $9 a month, $72 a year. It all gets sent right to your email box. Over 100 reported pieces every month. And my God, we had 10 in the first 3 days alone of February, because it has been quite a time, quite a moment for Danielle Robinson, who is now a member of the Los Angeles Sparks front office. We're going to talk about the legacy of playing, that transition, what it is experience is like on the other side of that desk when it comes to these types of meetings. But D-Rob, it's so good to see you. I just want to start by having you take us through your decision-making process. When did you know, how did you know this was time to make this jump?
Yeah, well, good morning, Howard, first of all. And I just always want to say thank you for being who you are and being amazing and covering us and telling our stories. You do it the right way. So on behalf of the players, me and, everybody else, we appreciate you. So, yeah, I think for me, it was, I didn't play this last season. But even before that, as I knew that there was more days behind me than ahead of me, you start to think about what you want to do and what it would be like to maybe transition. So yeah, I started looking at what drove me, what brought me joy, especially as a player, and that was relationships. And I think my ultimate goal is to be a general manager. Mm-hmm. So that's what really sparked it, was the relationship piece of it, and knowing that I was able to create those relationships as a point guard on multiple teams and multiple organizations, and I think that people respect me. And so I think having that voice, like I said, especially as a point guard, as a leader, you got to learn how to talk to people. People got to learn to trust you. All of that. So all of that comes into play. And then, like I said, this last season, I didn't play. So I had more time to really think and make connections and really just reconnect with people that I haven't, or connect with people that I never have met. So yeah, just enjoying that time and enjoying being in that space of kind of vulnerability, not knowing what was next, but enjoying the time of course, supporting the game, supporting the players, and then really, honing in and putting my mind to wanting to turn the page. I think it was time, especially with the growth of the league, with teams coming in, and there was a lot of change in a lot of organizations. So I definitely thought it was the right time.
It's interesting, you spoke about a couple of subjects, and one of them is your role as a point guard. It's always been obvious that you had a future in wherever this game was going. I know we've talked about this in the past, whether it was coaching, whether it was the front office, but the opportunities are so fundamentally different than they were. You entered this league in 2011, to kind of think back to where this league was going. I guess I wonder, within the framework of your playing career, was there an aha moment? Was it seeing one of your former teammates or opponents get hired into a front office role? Is it, something like Jasmine Thomas's elevation, Morgan Tuck becoming a general manager? Was there sort of an aha moment for you where it's like, oh, that is going to be a viable path for me?
Yeah, honestly, I think it was Tamika Catchings. I think it was Catch when I was in Indy, and having her call me and be in that space. And it was just like, wow, like, this is a real possibility. And then obviously, Morgan goes in and then Jazz goes in. You obviously see the players coaching, more of a natural transition, but it's nice to see more players going into that front office role. Again, because I think as players, we know what it takes. We know what players want and what they need. And so to have that opportunity to then provide that for them, I think it's really nice.
Institutional knowledge. I mean, it's such a big deal, and it obviously makes a huge difference. We're going to talk about sort of where the rubber hits the road on the LA side of it too. I would be remiss though, this is our first chance to chat since you made the decision to retire. And folks at home, if you don't know, now you got to know. D-Rob, you were 3-time all defensive second team. Frankly, as somebody who cast a lot of these ballots, I had you on the ballot. I know more than that, and I had you on first.
I appreciate that.
Now it can be told, but I said it, at the time. You've been an all WNBA second team performer. You are 19th all time. I like to get a little nerdy in assist percentage. I mean, just one of the great distributors in the history of this league. When you think about your playing legacy, you are somebody who everyone described, every coach described it. You never left anything out on the court. You did everything asked of you and more. What do you want your legacy to be when people talk about you in this way?
Yeah, well, one, I think just being a great teammate overall. I think just making everybody's life easier, being an energy giver, not an energy taker. That was always my goal. Walking into every single practice, every single game, like I'm going to give everything. If you don't have it today, I got you. Like if 5 people didn't have it today, I got all of you. Like that was just, I think my God-given ability. He's given me a lot of energy, and I wake up with that every single day. So I'm definitely blessed and fortunate for that. And then just a competitor. I always wanted to win. Sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't. But at the end of the day, like you said, I was going to leave it all out there on the floor, and I was going to recover the next day and be ready again. So it was just, one, being a great teammate, and 2, just being a competitor where people knew what they were going to get every single night and they wanted to go to war with me.
It's just something that's clearly going to be missed in the league, but I'm so happy for you to get this opportunity. And obviously we'll talk more in segment 2 about it, but just, I wonder, when you've thought back, if you've had a chance to reflect on, was there a playing moment that stands out as like, this was the best? Was it when you scored 36 points in a game? Was it, getting these opportunities? I mean, there's a lot, and we were both present for a lot of them. So I'm just wondering, like, for you, like, is there one where you're like, that was the best?
There's a lot. I mean, obviously being a 3-time back-to-back All-Star was amazing. I think I specifically remember, it wasn't even like my play, but I remember a game when we were in New York, and we were down, like, I don't know if it was like 5 or so with like 30 seconds, something like that, or 6, something along those lines. I'd have to go back and look at it. But Cheryl drew up a play, and I was in Minnesota. We were playing in New York and White Plains, so it was we won't go there. She drew up a play. I drove baseline. Literally, I remember this so vividly. Like, I feel like the ball was literally like right inside the line, but it was like a perfect pass to Maya. She knocks it down in the corner, and then we come back out. We get a stop. We're down 2, and Maya comes out and hits a ridiculous shot, and we win the game. And I'm just like, wow, like, this is my life. Like, this is what I get to do every single day. Like, every day is so different, but at the same time, so rewarding. And I think I was just like, wow, like, I'm playing with one of the best players to ever step foot on the court. We're the same draft class, and haven't been able to watch her career. We obviously played each other in high school and then in the W and stuff like that, and in college as well. So just making sure that, like, I was really soaking in these opportunities. And I think that's, what my career was about. Like, I never took a single day for granted.
Yeah, that game was May of 2018. I remember it very
well.
well.
See, look at you, like.
So, I went back to double check it, but yes, that was a fun time. Even though, yes, White Plains, Westchester, that's a history of the league we can leave behind. But
Exactly.
absolutely, so much to bring into what's ahead. Danielle Robinson is here to tell us all about it. Much more to come. Talking about the LA Sparks. I'm Howard Megdal. You're listening to Locked On Women's Basketball. But first, Locked On Women's Basketball is brought to you by Game Time. And Game Time offers the opportunity to get tickets to your next big event. Now, I have a basketball obsessed younger daughter and a theater obsessed older daughter. We love to go to these things together. Finding the right ticket at the right price, not so easy other places. Game Time makes it easy. So Game Time has this thing called Game Time Picks. It's a list. It curates based on the stuff you've gotten in the past. It tells you the best ways, the opportunities ahead. I share them with my family, with my wife. We talk all together, figure out where we all want to go, and go enjoy ourselves using Game Time Picks. Now you can do it too. Just download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Howard Megdal here, Locked On Women's Basketball, with Danielle Robinson, who is now on the opposite side of the table, the desk, whatever you would like to call it, when it comes to the first, and I would argue, one of the most interesting free agencies we've ever seen in league history. Live through multiple reasons, right? And just to set the stage for people who may not be aware, this is a moment where free agency is relatively new in terms of having more opportunities through the last collective bargaining agreement, but simultaneously there is an active negotiation going on with the next collective bargaining agreement. In fact, we can exclusively report here at Locked On Women's Basketball that the players and the commissioner and the WNBA will be meeting this week. So just a nice little bit of news tidbit for the listeners at home. So anyway, given all of that, you have a whole bunch of players who are trying to kind of test the waters. And I've written about this. There's a lot of 1-year deals being signed, and for good reason, for logical reason. So as you are having those conversations, I'm just wondering for you, you're thinking about it in a long-term vision. What is that kind of breakdown like? And how much a part of this are you to to sell the long-term vision of the Los Angeles Sparks?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the goal. We want people who want to be here long term. Obviously, I can't speak on, CBA and all that kind of
Sure.
stuff.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
at the end of the day, we want people who are bought in. Yes, you're signing a 1 year now, but the future, will be bright with the Sparks. So just continuing to sell that and everything that we are doing. Obviously, we're, with Reagan being a year in and Lynn coming in, I think that we have a really great culture. I'm a big relationship person, and having talked to them and signed on with them, I don't take that lightly, especially coming from being a player. Like, I wanted it to be the right fit, and it's definitely the right fit for them. So explaining that to players and looking forward to watching them compete for us for the long-term future.
I mean, in Reagan and in Lynn, both of whom have been on the program, both of whom, candidly, I've had the privilege of covering for a long time. There's, I guess, the status quo of good people is something that you can see taken for granted. Someone like Eli Horowitz, who's such a critical part of this front office as well. The opportunities to be able to build culture. Was that kind of a prerequisite for you as you were thinking through the ways in which you wanted to take this next step in your career? And then, just related to it, how do you go ahead and kind of pay that forward in making sure that their player experience reflects it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, shout out Eli. He's the magician behind it all. So had to show him some love as well.
Always.
But yeah, that was huge. Like I said, it was the biggest factor for me. I wanted to be somewhere where they trusted me, where they respected me, where we could build, a family. It wasn't like we're just, we're working and then, like, after that it's over. Like, I want to be able to, have dinners and spend time with these people and actually enjoy it. And I have thoroughly enjoyed working with this team so far. So I'm definitely excited about it. And then, being able to then be a former player and now explain to players and answer any questions that they have, because again, I was in their shoes. So that was important to me to kind of be that liaison between the front office and the players and keeping everything steady and creating alignment and just helping to give that vision. Sometimes as a player, you're like, oh, I can't, go to the GM or it's hard to talk to the coach. And that's where I come in, where I'm just like, hey, what do you need? What do you want? Kind of thing that makes your life easier, helps you be successful in the court. So I'm looking forward to that and continuing to grow in relationships that I've, already had and ones that I am going to build.
It's so interesting. The title you were given was Manager of Basketball Integration and Scout Support. Can you
Yeah.
take me through just on the scout support side? So do you expect to be on the road, or we're going to cross paths at college games? Like, what does that part of it look like for you in terms of player evaluation?
Yep, I'm on the road. I've been on the road quite a bit. I'm enjoying that part. Thanks for the miles. I appreciate that. But yeah, I love to travel, so it's been amazing, especially getting to some places that I never got to play, or watching those games and being in those atmospheres has been amazing. So yeah, that, and then I'll be in coaches meetings and working on personnel stuff, game planning, all that kind of stuff. So not necessarily a coach, but I'm in those meetings facilitating, just because I know the personnel so well.
Do you feel as if getting these live looks and getting more people in front offices in the WNBA to be able to get live looks? And I say that as, we go back to a time where front offices were often one person with three jobs instead of
Yeah.
having an actual group of people. How much is that going to improve not just the Sparks, but the WNBA as a whole's ability to be able to evaluate talent properly in a way that isn't just stats on a screen, isn't just being able to see film, but being able to get live looks, being able to have those conversations, be able to evaluate the whole person?
Yeah, it's huge. It's definitely huge. Obviously, talent is a big thing, but so is respect and how you treat your teammates and coaches and managers and those people who are working for you daily and providing for you. So it's great to to be able to see energy as well, and communication and all the things that that sometimes TV drowns out because of the commentating and the background noise and all that. So it's been great. Honestly, I think it provides the most insight because obviously you're already there for the talent. It's just trying to get the rest of the picture. So I think it's going to be huge. And then obviously different people from organizations going to see it. It's not only on one person. There's multiple eyes and multiple opinions, and that's what you want. You want dialogue, and you want conversation about who's going to be with you guys and rocking with you. So I think it's important, and I enjoy it. I enjoy the dialogue, because, you may see a bad game and somebody else saw a good game, and you can't, just base it off of one opportunity.
No, it's 100% right. And the other part of it, and the thing, if you'll forgive the point of personal privilege here as a host, when I saw you were hired was, okay, clearly there's a type of person they're trying to bring in as a player. And so I wonder for you, we know what you brought to the table on and off the court. How do you kind of measure, for lack of a better phrase, like the Danielle Robinson-ness of a player? Like, what are you looking for? Are you
Yeah.
looking, in game, in those conversations?
Yeah. In those conversations, I mean, energy, one,
Yeah.
you got to be, you want to be here and want to be a part of it, or just energy in general. Like I said, you don't want to be an energy taker every single day. Like, okay, we're gonna come to practice. Like, we know we gotta do this for this person. Like, we want to, somebody that's willing and welcome and ready to do that. If they have to lead it the whole day, if they can take a back seat, just somebody that's willing. I think that's the biggest thing for me is the energy, and then somebody that just plays hard, competes. Like, want dogs in our locker room that they just want to go hard every single day for each other. And I think that's The two biggest things for me, like I said, I was a big relationship person. Like every single place I went, I wanted to not only just get in with my teammates, but the community as well. That was super important for me just because we're given so much as players, and I wanted to give back in any way I could. And so just genuinely good-hearted people that are just really good culture fits.
Well, and you mentioned dogs, and Kelsey Plum has literally barked on the court
Yeah,
in previous
exactly.
times. So I,
Yeah.
it seems like mission accomplished. So I do want to talk bigger picture, long term, just about the build and about for you as well. So we'll be back in segment 3, talking all about that with Danielle Robinson. I'm Howard Megdal. You're listening to Locked On Women's Basketball. But first, Locked On Women's Basketball is brought to you. This show is sponsored, in fact, by BetterHelp. So I'm going to ask you today, listeners, what are some of your relationship green flags? You often hear about red flags, but what if you focus even more on identifying the positive signs in relationships, those green flags? I remember meeting my wife. It was her decency, how good a person she was to those that she cared about. And it's something that you look at, and it's something that also therapy can help you identify. If you look for the green flags, you actively practice them, even embody those green flag energy yourself, whether you're dating, married, building a friendship, or just working on yourself, therapy can help you form relationships that love you back. Now, BetterHelp helps you do it and helps you do it in a real easy way. Therapy online with over 30,000 licensed therapists to choose from. And if you need to switch therapists, you can do so at no extra cost. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/lockedonnba to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedonnba. Yeah, a lot of green flags and coming up on 19 years of marriage. So worked out okay.
Congrats. Amazing.
Thank you. Back here with Danielle Robinson talking about the Los Angeles Sparks. And before we get into what the Sparks should and will look like long term, what does it mean for you to come home in this way?
Yeah.
Archbishop Mitty,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
this
Come on,
is
Art.
such a full circle moment. It had to be. What has that been like, and how significant is it to build a franchise here in your home state like this?
Yeah, I mean, it's incredibly special. My parents are super excited. They're still in the Bay Area, so they talk about all the time, especially now with the Valkyries. They're like, "Oh yeah, like get as many tickets as you can." I'm like, "Mom, as a player, yes, but as a front office, I take what's left. So we'll see. We'll see what we can do." But yeah, I mean, just the opportunity to be closer to them, that's really important to me. I mean, they're getting older, so I want to spend as much time with them as I can, and have them, an hour flight away, a couple hour drive. It's amazing. So I'm really thankful. And yeah, Mitty has been everything, literally laid my foundation. So excited to have Sue in the building, and the staff, and as many players as we can get, you know, in the building for us. So I'm excited for, like I said, our games in the Bay. I think that we'll have a big following, church
Mhm.
family, all that coming. So it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, Hall of Famer Sue Phillips, and
Yeah.
always important to talk about her. And so again, your parents, they're Bay Area folks, but they're going to root for the Sparks. You don't think you're going to have to worry about losing them to the Valkyries?
Definitely not. No, they'll know which purple to rock for sure.
I'm sure you're right. And then just, for the Sparks themselves, right? It's always this question in the WNBA of like, where are you on the success arc as you're trying to figure things out? Again, balancing short term and long term is a challenge for literally every franchise here in the WNBA as we move into what is sort of rapid transition. What are you kind of looking for? And I'm going to use the same metric. Like, what are going to be ways to measure the Danielle Robinson-ness of this season, right? What constitutes those sort of metrics of success in your view?
Yeah, well, I think we're trying to win. Yes, we have a new coach and all that, but no, we're trying to win. Kelsey's a winner, and that's what she's trying to do as well. So
Mhm.
having her at the head, being the head of our snake, is amazing. Excited about that for sure. And so, yeah, I think just playing hard, having fun out there. I always had fun when I played, and yes, it gets intense, and sometimes calls don't go your way and all that. But at the end of the day, like you're having fun doing it with the people that you enjoy doing it with. And so I think that just winning and having fun with each other, lighthearted, keeping things simple, not getting overly complicated. And yes, there's going to be ebbs and flows of the season, but trying to stay as even keel as possible. But bringing that joy every single day, I think will help us have success. And I think that the group that we're putting together will really enjoy playing with each other.
I will say my lone regret about you being in the front office and not playing for Lynn Roberts is Lynn is such a focus on getting those high percentage shots at the basket.
Yes.
You were so good at that. You were north of 33% of your attempts were at the rim, which is just such a big number for a guard. You were at 60% accuracy for your career at the rim.
I like that. That's a good number right there.
That's a real good number. That's a real good number. But now you get to show the generation to come how to do it too. Well, Danielle Robinson, it is always a pleasure chatting with you. We're always grateful for your time. To our listeners, I thank you for making us your first listen every day. Tomorrow, we'll have Gigi Spear in the host chair talking to unrivaled folks, getting them ready for week 4 over there as it all just continues to roll on. Until then, I'm Howard Megdal, wishing all of you a wonderful Wednesday.
You are Locked On Women's Basketball, your daily podcast on women's basketball. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.